Melody Rogers made the front page when she was born. Born on New Year's Eve at just 14 ounces, she was one of the smallest babies ever born in Florida. The news otherwise was not so positive. Her premature birth caused a host of medical issues, including heart and lung problems, bone fractures, and a life-threatening blood infection. During her few weeks of life, she's endured numerous surgeries and painful procedures. Doctors say it will be a long, long road to adulthood. Antoinette Rogers looked to the Bible to find a name for her baby. She chose Adelaia, which means strong in Hebrew. She knew this tiny, frail child would need every ounce of strength she could muster just to survive.
When I was 23 weeks pregnant, I had to give birth to her by emergency C-section due to preeclampsia and chronic hypertension. I was hospitalized for 20 days. In Broward General Medical Center. I was transported by critical ambulance from Coral Springs Medical Center, where I'm originally from. I was there for 3 days. When I was 23 weeks and 5 days, I had the head neonatologist come in to labor and delivery to explain to me that at the present time, my daughter was not viable, which means in medical laws and state laws states that a baby that's 23 weeks or 24 weeks under is not considered a baby, it's considered a fetus. Her question to me was, do you give us the permission to resuscitate your daughter? Because she's not viable, and our goal is to save you, because I was in the process, my organs were shutting down. With eclampsia, it attacks the fetus. So at the time, they prepped me for the C-section and everything, went into the operation room. By the time they finished, I was in ICU for 3 days after my daughter's birth. The neonatologist came to see me the day after my daughter was born to tell me that my daughter was 400 grams. And I said, what's 400 grams? She said, that's 14 ounces.
Antoinette needed to be at the hospital with her daughter constantly, but the only transportation she had from her home in Coral Springs was cab rides, which cost more than $100 a day. Another parent saw her crying during one of her exhausting 10-hour shifts and suggested that Antoinette contact the Ronald McDonald House.
I got into Ronald McDonald House. My referral was for the 2nd of January. I was still in the hospital because I was asking, I said, what am I supposed to do? I have to see my daughter every single day.
And your drive was about how long?
I was catching a cab at the time because I couldn't drive.
Right.
It was about 40 minutes.
Wow, okay.
So imagine that, even if I was driving, that was about 40 minutes back and forth, and because we had something called hands-on time, was every 3 hours. It was either stay at the hospital throughout the whole entire day,
right,
or either go back, drive back and forth. And by coming to Ronald McDonald House, it enabled me to be back and forth over there as much as possible. I was there for her first smile. I was there to feed her. I was there to breastfeed her. I was there to talk to the doctors every single day. Without Ronald McDonald House, I don't know what I would do. The staff, they encouraged me. They actually knew everything that was going on before anybody in my family did. I would go into the office, Adelaia has to have a surgery tomorrow. I would show them the picture, she smiled for me, or she's on this breathing thing now. So with Ronald McDonald House, I learned that it was not only about being close to my daughter, it's about I had an extended family here.
Today, Antoinette takes life one day at a time. Adelaia was released from the hospital after 4 weeks, but she's still the size of a typical newborn, and she will need much care over at least the next decade.
As a mom, we don't see our child as being different. We don't see our child as being special. They're special, but to other people, it's like, oh, how'd you do it? I did it because I was adamant and I was my daughter's biggest advocate.
Antoinette still writes in her journal every day and sings to Adelaia to soothe her. Many more trips to the hospital will be necessary, but through it all, they'll be here, surrounded and supported by friends.
And to this very day, when I look at her, when I didn't hear her cry until March 10th. It was very faint. It was a very raspy cry. I was so happy.
Like, yes.
I ran into the office, I said, she cried for me. I know it wasn't for me, but it was for me. I was like, she cried. It was like, yeah, it's like, yes, it is a little tiny whimper, but she cried. And I was actually crying because she cried. It's those moments right there. But Ronald McDonald House, they will forever be my extended family. And when she gets older, we're gonna be back here. We're gonna do volunteer work. We're gonna do adopt-a-meals. I wanna be able to advocate for moms that are here. I met a lot of moms here. I've met a lot of families here that also are my extended families, a lot of NICU moms.
Yeah, and how is that to have extended community?
Oh my goodness, it is very, it makes you realize that you're not alone.
Operation Build hopes Antoinette, Adalea, and their family enjoy a long, happy life together. And the Ronald McDonald House Charities play such a critical part in helping them get that life started. Now it's time to begin part 3 of our makeover here at the Ronald McDonald House of Fort Lauderdale. That's coming up next. Here at the Ronald McDonald House in Fort Lauderdale, ready to dive into part 3 of our amazing makeover. We've worked on the kitchen, dining room, offices, and more. But we are not finished, not by a long shot. More now from Operation Build lead designer Elena Capra.
Today we're going to be working on the exterior of Ronald McDonald House, and helping us with that we have Al Salvo of Miracle Sealants. Welcome, Al.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be working with such a great organization.
Well, we're excited to have you here to make the outside more beautiful for this Ronald McDonald House. So tell us a little bit about Miracle Sealants.
Sure. Well, Miracle Sealants is one of the world's leading manufacturers of care products for the tile, natural stone, grout, and masonry surfaces. Our products have now been used on billions of square feet over the last 33 years and are available in 4,800 locations nationwide.
Wow. So I know that you know your stone and how to make it look good. Right now, how would you assess the current state of this walkway? I mean, this is the first thing that when families come in to see Ronald McDonald House, this walkway is the very first thing, and the condition's not so great right now. How would you assess its current condition?
Well, first I would agree with you. The impact is the first thing that you see. It needs to look how it should. And in this particular case, I think it's evident that it was not protected or sealed in the beginning. And as a result, you have an accumulation of stains and dirt.
Yeah, there's a lot of dark spots, and it just doesn't look fresh and new.
Exactly. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to restore it, get it back to its original state, and then we'll apply one of our 511 penetrating sealers to protect it so that it'll be able to be maintained ongoing.
Okay, so how does that product work? How will the sealant restore this and make it look beautiful and new?
Well, I think the first thing that we have to understand in trying to relate to our products is that all of these materials that I've referred to are very, very porous. So if you think of them in terms of a sponge, anything that gets dropped is going to absorb faster than you can remove it. So the key is to seal it when it's new, and what that does is it keeps the foreign matter, dirt, staining agents on the surface where they can be properly cleaned. When you consider that the cost of treating the surface when it's new is just pennies per square foot, it really makes sense to do it when it's new, or you're going to have to do a restorative process that can be quite costly and time-consuming and create an inconvenience for the occupants of wherever you're working.
Nice. So basically, as long as people are doing the proper maintenance, if they're pavers, natural stone, ceramic tile, they'll be able to prevent from having to do a major, stain removal and cleaning of that product.
Correct. Typically, once our products, the appropriate product is picked for the different surface, we would then provide an ongoing maintenance program that would enable them to keep it looking fresh and new year-round.
That's great. So what are we going to do today with this to make it and really restore this to its best possible look?
The first thing that we need to do is we need to pull the dirt out of the pores of the stone. In this particular case, because of the conditions that it's in, we're going to have to use some fairly strong cleaners. So the process would be to apply them, agitate, let them sit for the appropriate time, and then very important that they are extracted, so we'll use a wet vacuum to pull all of the dirt out of the pores of the stone so that it can be cleaned.
So these being pavers, we have another type of surface to work on here in the house. We've got ceramic tile in our public restrooms. Why don't we go take a look over there and see what we could do to make those look better?
That's fantastic.
All right, let's go. So please tell us how you're able to transform this bathroom tile.
It really did come out really nicely.
Incredible.
Different situations, same concept. We're dealing with porous surfaces. In this particular case, the ceramic tile is much denser. Still can stain, and it certainly can get dirty, but the vulnerable part, the sponge, if you will, that we've been talking about is this grout.
And there's so much of it. 2x2 tiles
2x2.
everywhere on our floor.
So the key was to clean it, and in order to do that, it took more aggressive cleaners than you would probably want to do. But we were able to get it back into this state. Now that it's been sealed, it'll be protected. You still have that 5+ year window to keep it looking like this. And you're not gonna have to worry about the bacteria harboring in the grout and becoming a problem.
So basically, this product was able to clean, restore, and now for 5 years, they won't have to do anything else. It's incredible.
I think it's a miracle.
It is. It's the miracle of miracle sealants. This is a true testimony of how great this really has worked. And now let's check out the outside, because if it did this to in here, I can't wait to see the papers up front.
You got it. Let's go.
There's still so much more to do here at the Ronald McDonald House of Fort Lauderdale, so don't go anywhere.
Most of the renovations we've done here at Ronald McDonald House have been really visible. Things like the paving stones we refinished and resealed. But now we're going to address something less obvious, something folks pay little attention to until it malfunctions: the toilet. So we're talking toilet tech with Amber. She's here from Tri-Flo Toilet Guard, and she's the inventor of an amazing product and also the founder of the company. Amber, welcome to the Ronald McDonald House, and tell us about this product.
Well, the Tri-Flo Toilet Guard is a new invention, and basically it's used to not only conserve water used from your toilet, but also prevent any catastrophic damage caused by overflows.
And how exactly does it do that?
It has a smart microprocessor in it that basically learns the habits of your toilet. So let's say it takes 45 seconds for your toilet to fill up. At 55 seconds, it's going to cut off all the water to your toilet. So you'll get a blinking light, and you'll also get an audible alarm letting you know that you've had some kind of malfunction with your toilet.
So in situations where the toilet may run on after you've flushed it and you've left the room, this will make sure that the water just gets cut off so that there can no longer be a chance of a problem.
Right.
And is this what happened to you? This is how this invention came to being?
Yes, actually my son came home from school one day, and he used the bathroom, he went upstairs, took a nap, and when he came downstairs 2 hours later, the entire downstairs was flooded.
And you got rid of your son?
No.
So it looks like a very easy product to install. It looks like it's just got a feed on one end and an outlet on the other.
Right, your water line comes in here directly from the wall, and this attaches to the bottom of your water closet.
And it runs off a battery?
Yes, it runs off a 9-volt battery.
And what sort of life does it have on a battery?
Since the battery life is only used if there's some kind of event, it could last you 5 to 7 years.
5 to 7 years. And this is something that can be used both residentially and commercially?
Yes, absolutely. It can be used in a hotel, it can be used in apartment complexes, or in your home.
So obviously we're here, this is more of a commercial application here in terms of the Ronald McDonald House. So, what was it that inspired you to sort of get involved with that remodel here?
Well, everyone knows that the Ronald McDonald House runs off donations. And if there's any way that we can help save them money by either wasted water or any catastrophic damage that could occur from your toilet, we wanted to do that.
So where do we find the Toilet Guard?
You can find them on our website at triflotoilet.com, or you can also find them on Amazon.
Now, I noticed when you came in today, you brought your lead engineer with you, Brian, and he's I think gonna show us how to install this. Maybe we should go and find him and check out how easy it is to install this Toilet Guard.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's go find him.
Andrew, this is Brian. Brian is our engineering manager, and he's been instrumental in developing this product with us.
So you're the brains behind the internal components of this?
Yes.
And you also hang out in bathrooms a lot?
I do.
Nice. So you're going to show us how easy it is to install this?
Yes.
I know that Amber was describing all the features of this product, and obviously you were instrumental in some of the internal components. And I think the best part is that it's an easy install, something that our viewers at home can do very easily.
Absolutely. It can be done by advanced do-it-yourselfers, but also the basic homeowner can actually install it also.
And that's the only tool needed?
That's the only tool.
The crescent wrench?
Yes.
And who doesn't have a crescent wrench at home?
That's right.
Okay, well, we're going to give you some space because it's kind of tight in here, so we'll let you get on with the installation, and Amber and I are going to stand back and watch you.
Okay, great.
Excellent. Take care. So I've been thinking, Amber, this technology could be used in other applications, and I'm wondering if you have anything planned for the future for Tri-Flo.
Yes, we're actually going to use the same technology found in the Tri-Flo toilet guard and incorporate it into other products that you can use in your ice maker, your hot water heater, your dishwasher, and your washing machine.
So this is just the start of big things for the company.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, we're very excited that you got involved with us here at Ronald McDonald House. We can't thank you enough for the time you've taken to come and install these the toilet guard, and we wish you all the best in the future. And good luck.
Thank you so much for having us.
Excellent.
Thanks, Andrew. Operation Build will be right back with more Ronald McDonald House renovations coming up. One great thing about the Ronald McDonald House is the amazing staff that works here. They're incredible, and I know that they're crucial in making these families feel like they're at home when they're away from home. So we don't want to leave them out of this whole makeover process. We're hooking them up like hooking up their office.
Exactly. We have a lot of really fun things planned too, so just want to go over all of the cool things in store for them. Chose this really nice carpet tile in two contrasting colors, sort of a nice dark charcoal gray and a softer heather gray.
Great.
And that's going to pick up our wallpaper over here in a beautiful chevron print.
I love that.
So I wanted to bring in a little bit of pattern somewhere. I love wallpaper. So this is our focal point. The first thing you see when you walk in will be
so great.
This. And then to pull that in, I'm also mixing some aqua paint as well as a softer gray tone. So that kind of anchors the paper in the room.
Now this is that removable wallpaper, right?
Yes, it is. So it's easy to install, it's peel and stick, easy to remove.
Great.
Just like our carpet tiles, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so tell me a little about the tile carpet, because I think this is a really cool concept.
Yes, well, I mean, tiles are fantastic for this sort of environment because they're heavy duty, they're going to wear really well, but they're also fun because you can create your own patterns. They also have the benefit of, if something spills, you can just remove one tile rather than
I love that.
the full room.
Love
Exactly. It's perfect product to use in the space.
Of course. And now this has a green element to it as well.
It does have a green element. The backing is actually made from 100% recycled water bottles.
That is so cool.
So yeah, it's got a really nice green story. And the construction was inspired by fashion textiles, so it's like a knit weave.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a beautiful weave, and I like the look of it too because it's not too, it doesn't really appear, it appears more of a tile as opposed to like actual carpeting.
For sure, for sure. And how easy are these to install and go in?
It's very simple.
So it's just glue on the back, place them down in whatever pattern. And are we doing a special pattern?
We're going to be doing a checkerboard pattern, so you could just, every other will be a different, dark gray and the light gray contrast.
I love that.
Which I think will work perfect with the wallpaper pattern.
Great. Well, again, we've got a lot left to do, so we'll have the guys in to install, and we'll finish up the rest of the project.
Sounds great.
All right. Thanks for joining us for the third part of our 4-part makeover here at the Ronald McDonald House. If you know of anyone in need or suffering a negative life circumstance, we hope you'll email us. Operation Build is ready to take on challenging new missions every single day. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and on Instagram. Until next time, I'm Alexi Panos.